Saban Video proudly presents Funky Fables.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Wonderland Wednesday. Like I said last week, there's going to be 2 videos today, but it might actually be 3 because I'm heading home this weekend, and I found something that I kind of want to see if Sarah will do a blind reaction to. So, if I do that, there will be a 3rd video later on today. But before that, the first video is going to be something called Funky Fables, Alice in Wonderland. Now, apparently this was a Japanese cartoon first, and I know what you're thinking. We already did a Japanese version and it was kind of terrible. This version surpasses that in terms of terrible, for totally different reasons. This is probably one of the worst adaptations I've seen, and a different kind of worse than the one we did last week and the week before. The 1931 version was trying. This one, I'm not sure about. Maybe the original was trying to be good. I don't know. I don't have access to a Japanese copy, nor do I know Japanese to be even able to figure out what they were saying if I was to watch it. But the English dub of this version was so terrible. The animation was fine. It was cheap anime from like late 80s, early 90s, but it's not horrible, it's just cheap. The thing that makes it horrible is the dub and the voice acting. I'm not sure they even used a translation of the original for this. It felt to me like somebody was trying to make up their own version of Alice in Wonderland to go along with what they were seeing. Like maybe they'd seen a version of Alice in Wonderland, or maybe read the book years ago and had a vague idea of what was supposed to be happening. And then they tried to make a whole bunch of weird jokes to seem hip and with the times, I guess. The beginning started with Alice and her sister being forced to go outside because the TV broke. And Alice was upset because their town didn't have a mall. The animation does not show anything that would suggest that this is modern times. So this really felt to me like somebody was just making up a story and having the characters say these things that didn't really fit. And it only went downhill from there. It seemed like every time you turned around, Alice was trying to make some sort of a joke, and they were all so stupid. This was written for kids. This was basically made to entertain children with no thought to any adult that might happen to come across it or be forced to watch it with a kid. One of the main things that bugged me so badly about this was how obnoxious it was. The voice acting for pretty much everybody was just obnoxious. Alice was okay-ish, I guess, but she had some very obnoxious moments, especially like when she was crying. She was just basically having a tantrum. And then, of course, all the stupid jokes. One of the big things that bugged me was the fact that everybody was talking with basic American accents. This is not an American story. This is a British story. It's possible to do an American version. That's fine. But there was just something about the way these voices were so obnoxiously American that it just bugged me so badly. All of the voices sounded like they were trying to be impressions of people. They sounded vaguely familiar, but I couldn't quite pick out who they were supposed to be doing an impression of, except for a couple of people. The Mad Hatter sounded like a horrible Gilbert Gottfried impression.
Can you tell me what day it is?
What? Tuesday, I think.
In that case, it's our house.
You don't listen. I told you to put that watch in the icebox.
Yes, but you didn't tell me that's where you hid the butter.
And the playing cards were terrible Elvis impressions. Every single playing card was trying to talk like Elvis.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey, baby, we're painting all the roses in the garden. Yeah, baby, the gardener planted all these white rose bushes by mistake. That's right, baby. And the only kinds of roses the queen likes are red ones. If she sees what's happened, whoosh, she'll cut off all our heads.
What?
There was a few really mind-boggling choices that they made within the narrative. First, they had the Cheshire Cat say that he was a cross between a chestnut and Worcestershire sauce.
I can see you're a very unusual animal. What kind of cat are you?
Cheshire Cat.
I've never heard of that before. Is it some kind of new breed?
It's a cross between a chestnut and a Worcestershire sauce. My grandparents were a walnut and a jar of mustard.
I've never met anyone whose ancestors were a bunch of condiments.
Yeah? Well, you can't say that anymore.
Huh?
Was that supposed to be funny? It makes no sense. I mean, I realize that Alice in Wonderland on its own makes no sense. But at least if you're going to make no sense, follow the storyline instead of just throwing in your own brand of nonsense. The next part was toward the end in the trial. They had a rutabaga pie or something.
The Queen of Hearts baked a rutabaga and turnip pie. When it was done, she put it on the windowsill. The smell made everybody sick. Then the Jack of Hearts came along and stole it.
And then at the very end, Alice tells her sister that she had the sort of dream that you would tell a psychiatrist about.
I was asleep. You've been asleep for a while. Did you have a good dream? Well, I had the kind of dream you go see a psychiatrist about. You really should write it down. You might be able to sell it to Hollywood and make $1 million. Oh, yeah!
And that's how Alice became rich and famous. She did the movie, got a TV series, and started her own amusement park. You know what she named it? Wonderland.
And that was the end. That's literally how it ended. The stuff that they threw in here for no reason is just mind-boggling. I can't really even describe how much I disliked this version. It was so painful to watch. I'm so glad I didn't force Sarah to sit through this. She would not have appreciated it. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. This was so stupid, and I'm so glad it's over with. The only problem is now I have to edit the video and put in some clips, so I'm going to have to watch like half of this all over again. It's my own fault. I'll live with it. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I will have another episode later today. I found another cartoon that looks almost as bad as this one called What's the Matter with Hatter? It was made sometime in the mid-2000s, I believe. It has really horrible computer animation. I have no idea what to expect. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to go watch that right now. I hope it's better than this one, but I'm not holding my breath. So, stay tuned for my review on that. I'll see you then. Bye.
Alice, oh Alice, she's in Wonderland. She followed the